Hello and welcome to ScotRock.
We're your hosts from Climb Scotland, Robert Mackenzie.
And me, Cal McBain, catch up with climbers every 2 weeks who have different epic tales to tell us.
We hope you enjoy the show.
And remember, when you're out climbing, be safe and do your buddy checks.
Ha ha ha! Look at us! 2 episodes in a row without 6 months in between. I told you that ScotRock was going to be back. But now we're back, I think it's time for us to admit that trying to run a podcast while doing all the other crazy things that me and Callum get to do in this job is actually really difficult. It's difficult taking the time to go out and get interviews and talk to people and do the editing part, and it's quite time consuming. And it just seems we get really busy in the summers and it's super difficult to get enough done, hence the big breaks in between episodes. So to help us out a little bit, we're going to change it just slightly, and instead of doing an episode every 2 weeks, we'll do one a month. Hopefully that will mean we can continue with being a little bit more regular, and you guys aren't missing us too much. And yeah, hopefully no more 6 month breaks in between, or 11-month breaks like this one has been. Apologies. But yes, ScotRock is back, and we are going to be chatting to a climber who actually managed to follow through with every climber's dream of building their own wall. And when I say building their own wall, this guy actually did fund, pay for, source, and build his own wall. Mental. Absolutely mental. Yes, today we are going to be talking to Matt Meyerhoff from the Hang On Climbing Centre in Hamilton, in Glasgow. Really cool guy, really cool story. Awesome what he's managed to pull together here. Big round of applause to him. And it's a really cool story of how he's kind of come up through climbing, decided to do this, and actually managed to pull it off. Super, super impressive. So, yeah, grab a cup of tea, chill, enjoy. This is Matt Meyerhoff. You haven't thought about this?
I haven't thought about it. I was expecting you to come with questions, so I'm like, okay, what do I actually know?
Yeah, like that's kind of part of the reason that I haven't got a huge list of questions here is because, well, I've not known you that long, so I don't really know. I haven't got much background on you at all. I've got a little bit of background on here,
yeah,
but I mean, I didn't quite know where to kind of go with the conversation because I don't know what there is to know.
Yeah.
Well, so
you were one of the phone calls up going, where did you guys come from?
Yeah, totally. Like, the first time I heard about you guys was one of the route setters at GCC went, oh yeah, I was down route setting at the new wall in Hamilton. I'm like, sorry? What new wall in Hamilton?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
my job is all based around knowing what is going on in the country, what walls are popping up all over the place and where everybody is, and you guys totally snuck in under the radar.
That was never going to be the way we did it, though. It was oh, perfect timing. Dad, is it important? Yeah, thanks, man. Phone not on airplane mode. That is rookie mistake.
You know what? I'm going to leave that in just for the way you answered that call. Dad, is this important? That's going to stay in. I love it.
Oh man,
I love it.
What was I talking about?
The
plan.
Yeah,
so it was never supposed to be stealth opening. It was supposed to be, we start construction, build a bit of hype, here we go, build, nice opening party. Of course, we started construction in March 2020, so it was kind of like that plan didn't last very long.
The challenging period, I'm pretty sure everyone understands.
I think there was something going on.
Something.
Yeah.
Can you remember what happened? I can't remember what happened last year. Last year didn't happen.
No,
2020 was a myth.
I blinked and it was done.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. When did you guys actually get opened here? Like, when was the actual opening date?
The actual opening date was the 11th of May, which was a little
11th of May 2021.
2021.
God, it feels like you guys have been open so much longer as well.
You know what? It's kind of both for me. It feels like we've been open for years because I have been at this for years now. But I also feel like I've been open about 16 minutes, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. Have you actually slept at all in the last couple of months?
Yes. And
That was
then
not
dreamt of
convincing,
working. No. The time of opening I was a little bit disappointed with because bowled over down in that, I always say the name wrong, Annan,
Annan. Yeah.
They beat us by 2 days.
Yep.
2 days.
Yep.
We could have been the first, but it's fine.
Yep.
It's all right.
Honestly, it was really funny. Like you guys opening pretty much at the same time as well.
Yeah.
I said this to you the other day. Because their name is Bowled Over and your name is Hang On, I kept getting the two mixed up and saying Hangover. I was like, can't call the new climb wall Hangover.
Oh, that's when you break into the German market in that whole have the bar in the centre.
Oh man, that's the future of Scottish wall. I'm surprised that we haven't already got that.
You know what? I did actually consider
bars
that.
and deep fat fryers in every wall.
Yes. Oh, I'm on board with that. Next venture.
Mm-hmm. So like, you know, you guys have been open for a couple months. How's it been as a new wall owner?
That is a big question. It's been great. Had loads of really, really nice feedback. A lot of people coming in. The biggest sort of statement we get is, didn't even know you guys were here.
Yep.
Oh dear.
Yep.
But everyone leaves happy, which is always nice, and we always get a lot of good feedback. It's been interesting.
It's been a roller coaster.
Yeah.
See that I didn't even know you guys were here. Mm-hmm. That statement, you will never hear the end of that.
Yeah.
Ever. Like I remember, like a couple of years ago when I was working at GCC, there was a guy who came in, thinking it was a food bank because it was a church and all churches are food banks. And he lived round the corner.
No way.
That wall's been open for 25 years.
Yeah.
So that statement is never going to go away. Every
right.
single day you'll get someone that walks past the shop and go, I didn't know you guys were here. So, yes, we are sitting in your office in the brand new Hang On Climbing Centre. I've just been for a climb. It's, I think today is honestly the only second time I've been actually here to climb. Actually climb. And it's awesome. I absolutely love it. I love what you guys have done with the place. It's so good. The angles of the wall, the setting style is brilliant. I love it.
We really doubled down on the techers in terms of setting style.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You guys doubled down on we've got textured walls, we're going to use them on every single problem. But yeah, the people that are going to be listening to this absolutely do not want to listen to my voice describing the wall. Tell us about the centre. Tell us about what you guys have done. Tell us about the mission, the vision for what you're doing here.
Right. So, about the centre, we are currently the third largest bouldering wall in Scotland, unless something new opened up in the last couple of months I'm not aware of. Which is weird.
I mean, I've proved that I'm not on the ball anyway.
I was about to say, do you know of anything? But no, that's not right. Yeah, so that was an interesting one because it was never actually supposed to be this big. It was supposed to be a little dinky wall that's that I could have and I could play in. It was all personal playground for me, and it just kind of got a little out of hand. The plans just scaled up, and it was like, well, if we do this, we may as well do this.
Yeah.
And if we're doing that, it's not that big of a stretch to do this. And then suddenly we're sitting in the middle of Hamilton with a humongous bouldering centre. And I'm sitting in an office. I've never ever had an office before, so this is weird. I'm usually a workshop boy. So it's all a bit interesting is a word.
It's weird, like you're saying, like it kind of got a bit out of control and you started adding new things and so that's, I think, complete opposite for the way most climbing walls get built. Like everyone. I think everyone that builds a climbing wall has this grand idea of what it could be, and then go, actually, I haven't got enough money for that. I haven't got the space for that. I have to dial this back. Yeah. Like, but you guys just kept adding stuff and ended up with a rather large room.
A little bit, yeah. There was definitely positives and minuses to this kind of style of operation. I mean, the timing of it was just... impeccable.
Let's talk about the positives to start with.
Positives, yes,
Positives.
absolutely.
Let's stay positive.
Well, we're open.
You
Positive
are
number
open.
one. It doesn't get much better than that. Oh,
It's like someone
man.
saying what's going good in your life and you go, I'm alive?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. That's a. I'm not sure what to say to that one. It's like.
It's been so much of a rush, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been very much just one thing after the other, after the other, after the other.
Eventually you'll be able to like settle and look back on the time and be like, oh right, actually, yeah, that was good and that was good. And
I remember when we were doing this.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you look around the office right now, we've got tools and boxes all over the place. It's not exactly organized.
This
Yeah,
looks like
that's
that's
for the Halloween, by the way. That's not personal stash of sweets.
I don't believe you. Honestly, the office, the manager's office, full of drills and boxes and setting stuff and tools. This looks like every climbing wall manager office I've ever been in.
Oh,
Every
thank
single
goodness.
one.
Okay.
So yeah, tell us about what was the idea behind this place? What was your vision for what this is going to be?
Vision. So, for me, I mean, I live down in Lanark, so the location of it was purely selfish. It was closer to Lanarkshire, so it's a bit easier for me to get to, essentially. But I've always loved the idea of having my own gym, and it's, that's been since 6 months after I discovered climbing. It's like, that'd be quite cool to have. And then again, it's just one of those things that just start chipping away and like, well, okay, how much does that cost? Oh, well, what if this? And then what if that? And then suddenly you're looking at properties, and then suddenly you're viewing them, and then you're talking to contractors, and then, you blink, and suddenly you're open.
Do you think that, so you say you had this thought 6 months into starting climbing that it'd be cool to have your own wall. Do you reckon that's a thought that most climbers have at some point?
Almost certainly.
I think everybody has all had that thought of, oh, it'd be really cool to have my own centre. But very few people actually follow through with it. So, what was, was it something that you didn't realise that, this isn't something that just everybody does in the end? Or was there a conscious decision nah, I am going to do this?
You know what? I think it was just one of those that sort of stumbled into it. Where, as I say, the business plan side of it was just a random. Oh, what if? And then suddenly it looked like a viable option, and
a viable option. That's
I know.
Interesting one to hear about a climbing wall.
It's because I don't know very much, Robert. Yeah, and it was one of those things. So I've been a cabinet maker for 8 years now, well plus, and it was kind of at the end of my rope with it. No, that's not the right way to say it. I just kind of lost passion for it.
Right.
And climbing was all I wanted to do, and so I had this almost complete business plan sitting here and going, well, that'd be quite fun. Maybe we should do that. And thankfully, I talked my family into it. Fools. And
they might listen to this as well, right?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, excellent.
Love you guys. But so I talked my family into it, and they all whole on board. And actually, all of my brothers work here now with me, so that's great fun. Mum and Dad come in to pitch in behind the cafe every once in a while, so that's just weird. So it's just become a big sort of family project, and I
think it's some old school walls started as family kind of projects, but I don't think you get that much these days. New walls opening up that are family projects. It's really cool to see.
I mean,
it's really cool to see.
Well,
Look at you, you're getting soppy.
Shut up.
Yeah, you're getting soppy. For those that can't see, because this is a podcast, he's blushing.
Oh, I'll kick you out, man. Anyway, no. You said about vision and stuff like that. I guess because a big one for me, bit more so than it's easier for me to commute, picking this area, is because my gran lives in Motherwell, just across the motorway. This was when we were moving around. This was where we came for holidays and stuff like that. So it's been the one stable area in my life where I'm not leaving. And so this was coming home for me. And so it kind of made sense to build a wall there, but at the same time, Lanarkshire has some pretty deprived areas, and knowing from personal experience the sort of transformative power of climbing, just being a part of the community and getting some damn good exercise, some bleep good exercise. It's just, I knew that they would be a good thing for this area.
Yeah.
I know that it's going to help people, and so that was the main drive. It's just like, right, we're gonna my wall at home where I had my whiteboard and it's like what to do next and what the hell am I gonna do?
Dream / nightmare board.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Name the name TBC, but underneath it was get people climbing, and that was the whole mission: is just get more people climbing.
Nice.
Just get people climbing. Show them what it's like. And so we basically, every aspect of this is about getting people involved.
Yeah.
So my head coach James, he's very on board with working with everyone that wants to get here. We've had many people in different groups approach us about, can we maybe come and try it? We're like, absolutely, we will give you everything on a plate. Please bring people. But
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And like, do you think the vision that you've got for this place being, it sounds like it's all kind of built around the grassroots, getting new people into it, not the upper end. Do you think your vision for that differs from how a lot of other walls start out?
Well, I can't really speak to that one.
Yeah.
Because all the wall owners I've spoken to, the majority of the wall owners I've spoken to, were their owned ones, and it's just because they're avid climbers, and it's just like, that's what we want to do. We want to have one.
Yeah.
So I can't really speak to that, but I could definitely see if you were doing it as a for-profit business, as in we're here to make money, then yeah, of course you would tailor it to the high end. You would have all the bespoke and the super expensive things, and you would get all anyway. Yeah. But
because like you said, I think the definitely the old school walls that are out there, the original, the OGs, they're climbers that built a wall
for themselves.
Yeah,
and their pals.
Like, climbers building walls for climbers. Yeah. I think that business model never was financially viable. Never worked. Every wall floated by their birthday parties.
Yeah.
But they all started out with this idea of, we're going to build a wall for climbers. We're going to build a wall for me. Yeah. My vision of what a wall is. It doesn't sound like that's what you guys did here.
No.
As much as you said, like, you started with the idea of, I'm going to build a little wall for wall for myself to play on. Like,
well, absolutely. So once we got to the stage where it's out of control and it was scaled up massively, we're like, well, okay. The vision shifted from wall for me to a wall for getting people climbing. And there's a reason. I mean, you go around the center, you don't see, we've got 2 caves, but you don't see any aggressive, 40-degree pitches, full height.
It's all verts and slabs.
Exactly, because that's the stuff you can get going on. And that was the design throughout.
Yeah.
Is space. I don't want to say easier wall angles, because that's very not true.
Definitely not.
We set some.
Everybody hates a slab.
Not me. Love them.
That's
why we've got like a third of the center is slab. But yeah. So the right the way back when we were designing the place, it was about ease of entry.
Yeah.
It was give newbies as easy a time as you can, where they can go around the full center and try all the different bits while still being a climbing gym. It was right from the get-go. Even when I was talking to the wall builders, when I was pitching it to my family, it was like, this is going to be a center for beginners and intermediates.
Yeah.
Our training area is practically non-existent. We've got a lovely slackline, which is just loads of fun to play on.
Everybody plays in the slackline.
Exactly. We've got a kids wall, which is, it's a great place to just get kids, a little bit isolated so they can think, but they still go around the center. But everything was designed to be, I feel like I'm hitting this point over and over again, was designed for beginner and intermediate climbers.
Yeah.
So despite the fact we have 2 caves and there's some really hard roots on them right now.
It's easy for root setters to get a bit carried away sometimes,
Yes.
isn't it?
Definitely guilty of that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of one of the reasons, specifically with root setting as well. I make a very strong point of telling everybody using our own bonkers internal grade, our 1, 2, 3s, so our 3s to 5 pluses, have to be interesting.
Yeah.
If it's just jug top, no one's going to climb them. So
Absolutely.
just add a little bit of something. It doesn't have to be much, but it's just something to make it interesting. And I think it is actually carrying over because we've had a lot of good feedback off the route set, particularly from new climbers.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, it's like that's what kind of definitely made me want to speak to you about this and do the interview. But like, it's one of the reasons that I really love coming here. Like the vision of what you guys have done here, making it focused around that grassroots and just getting kids into it and getting new climbers into it, not focusing at all on the upper end, the elite side,
the crushers.
Even though you've got hard problems for the crushers, yeah, the whole centre is not set out for them. And I think it's a really awesome vision, and I think it's going to work amazingly for you guys. Like I love what you're doing, but I think it's actually given a really nice atmosphere out there. The 2 times that I've been in climbing, you go to some of the other boulder walls out there that are kind of a bit more focused around the elite end. They've got hard problems up, they've got the training areas, they've got gyms, they've got the
circuit walls,
and stuff like that. And people are trying hard, and people are really trying to crush, and there's always Phil.
Not just the rookie.
I thought that was on silent.
No, that's right. It'll be your dad.
Ian Rendell, you are phoning me in the middle of a podcast interview.
You phoned me?
I know, I phoned you before I started the podcast interview and you didn't answer. I'll phone you back later on it. Anyway, where was I?
Crushers, mutant set.
So, the couple of times that I've been in here, the atmosphere is totally different from the walls that have got all these training areas and stuff, because there's always been that air of almost competitiveness. Everybody's trying really hard. It's easy to look at someone trying really hard on a campus board or something and just be like, whoa, intimidated. I'm not going to go and play on that because I'll just embarrass myself. And you don't have that here. Like, I think like everybody that comes in here just feels like, well, I definitely feel like I can go around and climb anything and play on any bit because, well, it's set out for that introduction. Everybody can play on anything.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really nice atmosphere. It's super inviting. It's super warm. And I've only been here for an hour, and there's loads of kids running around just having an absolute blast on that
Under control. Under control.
Under control
Everyone's
chaos.
supervised. Yeah.
Under control chaos. Yes. Yeah, I absolutely love it. So yeah, absolutely congratulations on actually getting this place up and running. But
thanks, man.
So you mentioned that when you started climbing, a couple of not long after that, you had this idea of building your own wall, and it has brought itself into this. But so I want to kind of frame who you were as a climber, and what kind of guided you at having this vision of just getting more people into it, rather than going, I really love climbing, I want to get as good as I can possibly get, I want to build a wall to let others get as good as they could possibly get. Like, what? Because I think a lot of climbers that actually go down the route of I'm going to build a wall are building a kind of training area for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why it ends up being focused a lot down the elite end, because it is training venue.
Yeah.
This isn't that. So kind of who were you as a climber when you started that kind of made you kind of forget that end?
Right. So I discovered climbing quite late. I say late. I was 25, something like that. So I definitely not a super strong teenager or a kid. And yeah, I was when I found climbing, bouldering specifically, because it's the best. I'll hear nothing.
Debatable. Right, that's it. This has turned into one of those controversial podcasts now.
Wait for the smashes.
Yeah, we're going to get all the dislikes. Wait for the comments.
In my honest opinion. So when I discovered climbing, I was not in a great place in life. I was a bit overweight. I was not exercising. I didn't have a lot of friends. Sort of very. Yeah, it was not the best time for me. It was actually my brother who said, right, I want to go try something new. Let's go climbing. Like, all right, fine. So we went, and it was at Boulder, Brighton, down in obviously Brighton. And yeah, it was just one of those things. I walked in and I was just like, I love this. This is fantastic. I feel I'm doing something that's really interesting, thoughtful, and after going a few times, you start, as you know, as everyone knows, as soon as you start climbing, you start talking to climbers, and you just start making friendships, and suddenly it's like, oh, okay, I'm in a better place in my life. I'm happier. I'm healthier, and it's all stacking on itself. And that always really stuck with me, because the best part of climbing for me is the people, is other people. And I mean, being able to, campus a 7C, that's great. But it's kind of like, that's a one-off thing. It's once it's done, it's done. Which, don't get me wrong, there was a time when I was properly training and I was like, oh, this is the best. Oh, friggin', but it always just reverted back to, I just like hanging out in a climbing center. I just like talking to climbers. I like talking to new people who've never discovered climbing, and I can show them how amazing it is.
Yeah.
And so it was it naturally fell onto me, because again, Boulder Brighton was very much the same vein as us. They're actually, Tom and James, if you're listening, I love you guys.
That's right, I'll tag them in this.
They were the inspiration for this place. Their gym Boulder Brighton was the inspiration for this place, and it was very open, very not aggressive wall angles. It was a very welcoming place, and I wanted that again. So here we are.
You say, when you came into the wall that first couple of times, you kind of discovered that you actually really enjoyed this. Did you did you have a bit more confidence to be able to go and like just walk up and start talking to other climbers, or did other climbers come and talk to you, or how did that go about?
See, that's a funny one, because I mean, I suppose it was a bit of both. So I'm not the most sort of shy person. I'm a little bit on the gregarious side.
I have noticed.
So I'll talk to anyone. But again, at that point in my life, I was not a significantly different person, but I was definitely not as confident person.
Yeah.
And so it was other climbers that came, spoke to me. Occasionally I'd just go, a bit of beta on this. How do I do this kind of thing. Staff at Boulder Brighton were amazing, and so it's just one of those things, you just start going, oh, I've talked to that person before. Oh, I'm gonna ask you again, and then suddenly you're climbing together, and they're way stronger than you, and you're just like, how are you even doing that? Which then gives you that drive to go, I want to be able to do that, and this person's really nice and they're supportive, and it's just like, it's that whole self-feeding machine that gets happiness and healthiness and good vibes.
It's an amazing. I completely agree with you. It's one of my favourite parts. In fact, I think it is my favourite part of climbing as well. Like, as soon as you start climbing, you're instantly welcomed into the family of climbers.
Absolutely.
So you talk to a climber, you find out they're a climber as well, instantly family members.
Yep.
I absolutely love that, and it's great to hear that. You tried climbing as a way of just trying something different, and you were instantly welcomed into this community, and it made such an impact on you. You built an entire wall
just to do more of it.
You spent thousands of pounds just to give that to other people.
Just to make more awesome. Friends for myself.
That's awesome. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That is cool.
Just a big friend generator out there.
It is. It is. So, like, how long were you climbing for, like, down in Brighton, like, before you sort of came up here? Before, like, what was your climbing life like between starting climbing and actually committing to doing this?
So started climbing. 6 months later, thought this would be quite nice. Own one of these. Started talking to Tom and James, the owners of bouldering. They gave me loads and loads and loads of info. I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Started writing some of that down. So who should I talk to about this? Oh, that's really interesting. Write some numbers down. It was about a year and a half, maybe a little less than that, after starting climbing that I actually moved back up here.
Yeah.
Start going to TCA. Realized there is no climbing in Lanarkshire.
Yep.
Have to drive everywhere to get anywhere.
Yep.
So it's just one of those things. You start talking to people and like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. Oh, that'd be really interesting. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Oh, well, how much is it? Oh, you know, that whole you just drip feeding information.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point, maybe 2.5, 3 years into climbing. So, I'm terrible with years. It was like 2018, I guess, somewhere in there. I started actively looking at like, okay, about this is how I kind of see it working. Now where? That's when you start looking around, and I looked at a ton of locations. Just honestly, they were all over the place. It was
Say all over the place.
Oh,
Lots of people that build climbing walls, they look at what buildings are available, and there doesn't seem to be that much. But I feel like you've looked slightly more outside the box than a lot of people.
yes.
One thing we have not covered in this yet is this bouldering centre is in the middle of a shopping centre in Hamilton.
Yeah.
Right in Hamilton High Street.
Oh yeah.
Love
Fun
it.
times. Fun times.
Most people that think about building climbing walls would never have thought of looking at a unit inside a shopping mall.
Yeah. And it didn't happen with me either. I was looking at industrial estates, same as everyone else. It was my mum.
It's your mum.
Who, she loves to coast the sort of property market sites.
Yeah.
And she just sort of said, hey, have you thought about this one? There's actually one in Motherwell. In the Motherwell sort of high street there, Brandon Parade.
Is that you just advertising for competition to move in next door?
Oh, yeah. No. No, we looked at that unit, and that was the first time we thought, like, okay, maybe high street, because, it makes a bit more sense.
Yeah.
It makes a bit more sense. It makes absolutely zero sense when you think of it from realistic standpoint, but we did it anyway. So we were looking at this one in Motherwell, went and viewed it and this kind of stuff. It was not in a good state. It was smaller than this, had a lot of things being done to it. The location was pretty good, but it was, it would have taken some serious effort to get that going. And I was all set to pull the trigger on that one. And I got ghosted by the estate agent. Oof, like full on dropped. And after a month of pestering, saying, what is going on? Finally came back to me and told me why. I'm not sure what happened to the reason, but I'm not going to say it because it was supposed to be confidential. And I wasn't actually supposed to know this. But she felt bad because I was like, I'm ready to go. And she's like, well, you can't. Basically, sorry. Okay. 3 days later, my mum opens up and says, have you looked at this one? And that was this unit. 2 days after that, walked in the front door, big empty shell, and said, this is it. This is absolutely it.
Yeah.
And then there we are.
Awesome.
That's about
awesome.
2 years
and
later
it's such
now.
a cool space as well.
Yeah.
It's a really big space for... I wouldn't have thought like there was a room this big inside of a shopping centre.
Yeah.
I didn't realise how big these shops went back or...
Oh,
No,
yeah.
it's
Particularly
really fun.
walking up the central mall there, because it's just, you look at it. I remember my thoughts walking up there were like, no way.
Yeah.
This is a waste of time. They've exaggerated the size. There's no way the ceiling height is going to be enough.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you walk in those front doors, it's like, okay.
Yeah. So before you sort of made that decision, before you pulled the trigger to decide like, right, I'm going to start looking for locations here, when you were still carpenter. Carpenter?
Cabinet maker.
Cabinet maker. I knew it was a C.
It's a different thing.
When you were still doing that, but you were climbing, what was your climbing life like? How much did you manage to get out? Like, what did you do? And why, when you decided that you didn't want to be a cabinet maker anymore. You just wanted to climb. What made you do this instead of just going full on dirtbag and buying a van and driving around Europe? Like, was that ever on the cards for you? Like, what kind of climber were you? Like,
so I'm one of the new breed of climbers. I'm a plastic puller, man.
you're a plastic puller.
Yeah, I like climbing indoors. I really like bouldering holidays. I like going out and But I've never really done much outdoor stuff apart from the sort of go abroad and spend 2 weeks bouldering in a place in nice and sunniness.
Yeah. Climbing sun.
Pretty much. So I was at TCA, 3+ times a week on the lead up, and then it was just as to why I did this instead of just going off and climbing just forever. I guess it's the challenge of it. It's just one of those things. There's always I don't want to say there's always the next project, but there is always the next project.
Yeah.
It's like, I've done this, I want to do this. This next one's going to be harder, so let's do that. Didn't realize how much harder, but it's fine. That was a miscalculation on my part. But yeah, it's always been that. What's the next challenge?
Yeah.
What's the next thing we can do? And I mean, I don't really want to admit this to my own self, but I am actually thinking about the next step right now. We're barely started with this one, and I'm already like,
I knew you would be.
oh, we could go in this direction, or ooh, maybe we could try this. But yeah, so it's just one of those. It was like, it's a sport I'm absolutely in love with. I want to share climbing with as many people as I can, and it is a fantastic challenge.
Yeah.
Just definitely one you sink your teeth into.
It's interesting, like, when you say at that same time that you didn't want to be a cabinet maker anymore, you loved climbing, you just wanted to do climbing in whatever form that was going to be, but you also wanted another project. I think a lot of people that are just mega psyched on climbing pick climbing projects. Like, all right, I'm going to become a dirtbag and I'm going to go out to Spain and I'm going to try this 9A. Like, that's my project. Even though I only climb 6C, let's go, let's do it. It's really, it's interesting to hear that, like, you wanted a project, you wanted to climb, but you didn't go down the traditional, right, my project must be a route somewhere or a boulder somewhere. Or
it's probably the sort of builder in me.
Yeah.
For me, a project is furniture and stuff like this. That is we build something, and once it's done, great, we move on to the next project. And it's sort of, that's kind of what I've done here as well. It's sort of like, my project is to build a climbing center. Build a climbing center. Here we go. And then suddenly I've got to run it too.
Yeah. So right, let's get to it. So we tried to keep it positive.
Yeah.
At the start, we said we were going to talk positive.
Hell yeah!
You came out with one positive.
I'm sorry.
So let's get to the elephant in the room. You tried to start this at the start of 2020.
You know what?
How did that go?
Yeah. God. Get your bleeper ready.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, yes. So we started construction in March 2020. I got 3 good weeks out of the teams, electricians, plumbers, before I had to send everyone home.
Right.
And that... so it's really funny and also very not funny. But the timing of the first lockdown, if it had been a week either side, we would have been in serious hot water. Like, oh God. Because it happened just as the teams finished, like within days, they're done, okay, ready for the next ones. Everything shuts down.
Yeah.
Because of that, and because I have, a certain skill set, I was able to carry on construction solo for the next, it was 4 months before I brought the next person in. So 4 months, just me in here, working away. Which means I got a lot done.
Yeah.
Everyone was complaining about nothing to do in lockdown. I'm like, oh God. No, that's not fair. But, yeah, so just working away throughout lockdown. And then just as the first lockdown sort of ended, when it started to open up about, was the time I needed to bring people back in. The timing of it was impeccable. So it's like just starting to open up. Great, we'll get some teams back in. We'll bring up, Andy Long and all those guys just start building some stuff. Great, fantastic. Making good gains. Here we go. We built the walls, got them painted, got the crash mats installed, got the roofs set and done, and then the other lockdown happened.
Yeah.
For God's sake.
Yep. Because that's when I met you for the first time.
Yeah.
And you were like, we're going to be open before Christmas.
Yes.
And I was like, yes!
So good!
Like 2 weeks later, oh no! Oh no!
Yep, yeah, so we met, going to be open for Christmas, great stuff. It was going to be the sort of first, maybe second week before, in December.
Yeah.
And we get up there, second lockdown, like, okay, this is it's a pain, this is ridiculous, but it's fine, we can power through it, we'll get there. And then just as we're about to open up, they're talking about doing the Christmas thing, like, we'll be open for a week on Christmas, and then 3 days for Christmas. You get 1 day for Christmas. And it's like, okay, we all know where this is heading.
Yeah.
There's no point opening for 2 weeks to then shut down. Because that wouldn't be fair on staff. We lose any momentum in terms of opening.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, all right, fine, we'll sit on this one. And so it ticked over. And then we got stuck in the last lockdown, and it went on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And because there were still certain things we needed to do that we couldn't get done, we weren't able to open with every other gym, because that would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
Because that would have been just sublime. Bam! Here we are! Woo! And so we kind of had to sit on that one until eventually we finally did. And then, of course, Boldover beat us by 2 days!
Well, he's not soured about that at all.
I'm not better. What I would have shot.
Man, it's it's such... Like I said, it's such bad timing that you started this when you did, but luckily, the teams that you had in got finished. I mean, the amount of work that you got done by yourself is nuts.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts,
It
man.
was
Like,
pretty
that's
good.
so impressive. How much wall space have we got here? Like, this one thing with,
So, not including the kids bit, we're 600 square meters. And then including the kids bit, we're an extra 50 on top of that.
Most people when they say, I built a climb wall over lockdown, it's like, I did 3.5 square meters of flat panel in my garden, and you effectively built 600 meters of wall by yourself. That's seriously impressive, man.
Yeah.
Seriously impressive.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was
It
good.
was fun, was it?
Yeah.
Was it fun? Fun's
It
the
was-
word you're going for.
You know what? Yes.
Okay.
It is the word I'm going
Okay.
for, because the traditional build is like, okay, panels, square,
Yeah.
plasterboard, insulation, just normal build. This is like 3-dimensional art. It's just great, and it's like totally freeform as well.
Yeah.
As long as it's strong enough to hold a body, which of course it is.
Yeah.
It overbuild at ridiculous levels.
Yep. I've
It's
seen
just
the back of your wall. It's overbuilt.
It's great because it goes man. Yeah, no, I had a great time.
Yeah. It's awesome. It's awesome. I like. There's so many things about this build that I admire so much. One, you funded it yourself.
Mostly, yeah.
Mostly yourself and your family. You didn't get a loan from big business somewhere that's going to have a hand in the business or whatever. You built it yourself. And the vision of who this wall is actually for is, slightly different from a lot of the other walls and how they start out. It might be what they ended up being, but not how they started out. It's awesome. It's awesome to see. Very, very impressive what you've managed to pull out of the bag here.
Without anyone knowing.
Anyone knowing? I know! How did you manage to pull 600 metres of wall off the deck without me knowing anything?
Ta-da!
I dropped the ball on that one.
No. Thing is, the trouble is, I've been talking about this for like 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's one of those things I always say at the climbing center. I go, I'm thinking about doing this. Yeah, I think, but
Everyone talks about it.
there's always rumors floating around. It used to panic me whenever I heard a new rumor.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh god, someone's thinking the exact same thing me. They're gonna get there first.
But nobody does it.
But nobody does it.
Yeah,
apparently.
no one's as stupid enough to try and build their own wall. Sorry. Sorry, did I say that?
No, you are spot on. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh man.
No, like seriously impressive what you've pulled out here. I'm so psyched to see where it goes and
Thanks, man.
what your new plans are. I'm not going to ask about them because
Yeah,
I know
'cause
they're going to be confidential and
They're
exciting.
pretty in the sky right now as well.
Well, so was this at one point.
I
wasn't it?
suppose, yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
But no, absolutely, I love this place. Absolutely love this place. And if anyone's listening and you haven't checked it out yet, you need to get down here. It is really, really cool.
Hang on. People
Was
don't know about this.
Was that a pun? you just
You know what I love that it. Oh God! So we went back and forward on that name for so long. I mean, the amount of different names we tried. I have like a stack of business cards at home of various different names, all of them ridiculous. And hang on, because it comes up in conversation naturally, and then I can jump on it with TM, and it annoys everyone now, but I can't help it. It's like a tick. But,
even though it was GCC's slogan for 20 years.
Right, so same fella who told you we existed. Actually, during the route setting, he came up to me and he's like, "Oh, did you know that this was GCC's slogan?" I'm like, "No, I did not know that." And apparently, Alan Cassidy he said to me, they when they heard that we were opening, they thought we were an extension of GCC because of the name.
Hang on, that's hilarious.
Oh man, yeah, but it's cool.
Cool.
Yeah,
It works.
exactly.
It works. I'll stop calling you hangover now. I promise. I promise.
Not
But
on
yeah,
Friday
like,
nights.
If anyone here is listening, if anyone, I say if anyone, please somebody be listening. Please,
listening.
someone listen to this. Oh no! In fact, I'm going to save that for the introduction to this. Actually, I'm going to save that. Well, I'll cut this out, but I'll tell you. Like, so when me and Callum started this podcast, we I was listening to the Enormocast quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I got to like episode 50 something, and he mentioned that someone had recognised his voice at the Crag, and I was like, man, so many people must listen to that podcast. No way. Like, me and Callum are never going to reach that. Like, this podcast will be in the ground before we ever hear those words coming out of someone's mouth. I went to Dunkeld last week, and I was standing there, and the guy turned around and he went, "I recognise your voice. Have I heard you on a podcast?" I was like, no way! Yes!
We made it!
I am voice famous. Yes!
Oh man.
That guy didn't know how big my ego got that day.
Our fantastic playlists.
Right, there we go. There's the advertisement for the wall. Like, over 600 metres of wall space. Amazing atmosphere, super techy, lovely boulder problems, and the best playlists in a climbing wall. There's your advertisement.
I take zero credit for that. Basically, I've told my brothers and the rest of the guys just you guys do it, because my taste in music is terrible. I say terrible. It's amazing, but no one appreciates it.
Most playlists that get played in climbing walls are pretty bad.
Yes.
Like, climbing walls, like, I'm going to say this to every climbing wall manager that maybe listen to this. Your music in walls is horrendous sometimes. Nobody can defend that. It's either, like, really old school tunes that aren't psych music. They're pretty depressing at the best of times. They don't amp you up any.
I did have to axe a few songs off. I had to pull rank a couple times because there was like some bleeding Norwegian dirges.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay.
Yeah. Or it's like mega deep house.
Yes.
Yeah. That's it. That's a climbing wall right there.
Everybody loves a bit of umcha.
Yeah. Every climbing wall house. Every climbing wall. Can't get away from it.
Yep.
And do you know who it is that's doing it? You boulderers. It's the boulderers that are doing it.
Nonsense!
You come in here with your vest tops and your beanie hats and you play your house music and you ruin it for the rest of us.
Oh, I'd accept that. Except not even a little.
No, brilliant. So psyched for this place to be open. So psyched to come down and visit this place every time I come down here. And psyched to see where you guys take it and what the new plans are. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for sitting down.
No problem, Rob. That
and
was fun.
good effort getting this place up and running. Full round of applause to you, sir. Well done. And actually, while I've been blowing smoke up your bum, big round of applause to your staff.
Yeah,
right?
no
They
kidding.
run this place amazingly. They're a
Yeah.
fantastic group of people.
Mhm.
Absolutely fantastic group of people. And I know that they're going to listen to this because they'll be looking for things to take the mickey out of
I was
people.
about to say.
So thank you very much, guys. You guys have made this place an amazing place to be.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, cool. Thank you very much.
Nice one.
Man, what an achievement to pull that off. 600 square metres of wall being built by yourself. Super, super impressive what he's managed to pull off here. And a really cool vision for what the centre is going to be. So excited to see what his next plans are. Hope you enjoyed that. And summer's coming in now, so when we're getting out there, you know what to do. You gotta do your buddy checks.